happening at the moment.
Well, just over a month ago, 3 firemen died in a blaze at the Bank of Lisbon building that's in downtown Johannesburg.
Well, since then, many issues were raised and promises made. Now, following the fire, a number of other government buildings were found non-compliant with occupational health and safety standards.
Well, we're revisiting the matter this morning with eNCA's Lindokuhle Xulu, and he's speaking to authorities to track the progress that has been made so far.
Lindokuhle, good morning, and thanks for joining us this morning. Well, month has passed. We don't know what has happened since then. That building was shut down. What have the developments been? What are you finding out?
Well, we understand, Praten, that rightfully so, as you had alluded, that it has been a month now since the Bank of Lisbon fire, that engulfed some of the floors in this building. But what we understand, of course, is that that investigation is still going on. And what we also know is that the building was non-compliant together with other buildings, government-owned buildings, in fact, around Johannesburg, and that led to the evacuation of employees around the area. But what we are trying to find out now, of course, is the progress that has been made since then. The state of the fire department in the city of Johannesburg. We understand, in fact, that we requested the other fire departments from Ekurhuleni as well as Tshwane. But we want to just understand, and of course I am joined by the MMC for Public Safety, Michael San, who will just bring us to speed as to what has happened in the past month in terms of refurbishing or reinforcing the fire department in Johannesburg.
Well, good morning, Lindo. I think let me start by referring to the building behind us. The investigation is proceeding. Of course, you understand it's a very delicate and complicated investigation which involves not just the City of Johannesburg Emergency Management Services, but also SAPS, because this is a crime scene. We've also got OHASA and, of course, the Department of Labour that's also conducting investigations. We as a city, we will be appointing our own independent investigator so that we are also guided by an alternative report. Coming out from this incident, we obviously have learned a lot of lessons. Some of the programs that we adopted to put some corrective measures in place. One of the program is the in-service training for our firefighters. We also want to broaden that into an engagement with our staff members within EMS. Our fire engine replacement program is going well, smoothly. In fact, the tender notice has been published about 2 weeks ago. We had, very positive feedback. About 48 suppliers came to, the briefing, wanting to supply us with fire engines. The replacement program we're looking at is to procure 104 fire engines over the next 3 years. The first batch will be 29 fire engines. We're hoping that, as soon as possible, probably by the middle of next year, that we're able to have, new fire engines delivered to our city of Johannesburg.
MEC, you're speaking about things that are in the pipeline, things that are going to happen. But let us understand now the state of the current state of the fire department in Johannesburg. If such an incident, God forbid, happens again, will we be able to tackle it in a different manner that would not have fatalities as we've seen in this fire, in the Bank of Lisbon fire a month ago? But what I'm trying to understand is, are we ready to tackle such incidents, in fact, while these things are in the pipeline?
Yes. No, of course, we have learned our lessons. There were so many issues that we needed to address. But coming out from a situation where the EMS, the Emergency Management Services, were left neglected for many, many years. The first thing we need to address, obviously, is the retraining, the refresher courses for firefighters. We need to ensure that when incidents like this happens again, that we are fully prepared. One life lost is one too much. We'll make sure that, going forward, our firefighters know what to do, in a situation like this. It is unusual that we faced with these high-rise fires. But just 2 days ago, another fire broke out not far from here. A paint shop caught on fire. Our firefighters were there in full force, and they dealt with the situation very professionally. So it's not so much of the competency of the capacity of our firefighters, but I think it's that the constant, in-service training that we need to afford and provide to our firefighters to, better equipment, to equip them to ensure that, when we have incidences like this as the Bank of Lisbon building fire, that we go forward improving our services to the residents.
I guess, MEC, I'm just going to try and push further on this. If there is another Bank of Lisbon, similar building to this one, that catches fire in a similar fashion, will we be able to deal with that situation?
Let me say this, we certainly don't want to see another incident. We are hoping there won't be any that will happen. But I think let me deal with this in two parts. One, yes, we are going to be prepared. As I've said, we learned a lot of lessons. The second part is that we're also on a program to inspect these buildings to ensure that the buildings of this extent have their own firefighting capacity and equipment. The fire extinguishers, the water pressure, the fire real hoses are all in a good working order. So our firefighters, when they get to the scene, they are properly equipped, not just out of the EMS fire stations, but in terms of the building itself. The other very important thing is that we want to engage the building owners, occupants, to start on a evacuation drill exercise. So if there's any emergency that should happen, that the tenants, the occupants, and the people in the building know what to do. So I think that's also a very important part, that we not only equip the hardware part, but also our human aspects.
Thank you so much, MEC. That is the MMC of the MMC, right, Michael Soon, I understand, who is from Public Safety, but telling us exactly what is in the pipeline in terms of enforcing the fire department in Johannesburg. We will be getting more reaction and more of what is happening around this building. Of course, that investigation still ongoing. We understand that different departments, in fact, the South African Police Services as well as Emergency Management Services, are conducting separate investigations as to what exactly happened here. But of course, a lot in the pipeline to refurbish and reinforce the fire department in Johannesburg.
Thanks very much, Lindokuhle Xulu there in downtown Johannesburg.